Welcome to Dig Deep, the mining podcast. In this podcast, we go deep into mining news, hot topics, and live interviews with mining professionals and leading figures in the mining industry. Introducing your host, Rob Tyson, founder and director of Mining International and Mining International Executive, a leading global mining recruitment and headhunting agency.
Hi, mining community. Welcome back to another episode of the Dig Deep, the mining podcast, the show that brings you all the latest insights, thought leadership and stories from across the global mining industry. On today's show, we have Heather White, who's the CEO of Sunshine Silver Mining and Refining Company, a US-based developer focused on revitalizing one of North America's most historic and high-grade silver districts. Under Heather's leadership, the company is advancing plans to bring its project back into production, whilst also expanding into the critical minerals space, including antimony, which is drawing and growing attention for its strategic importance in energy, defence and technology. In this episode, Heather's going to share an update on Sunshine Silver's progress, including their recent $75 million equity raise, the 5-year roadmap to restart operations, and how the company's repositioned itself within the evolving US critical minerals landscape. We're also going to discuss the challenges of bringing legacy mines back online, the regulatory changes needed to accelerate domestic production, and also Heather's outlook on what investors should watch out for next. So Heather, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
Very well, Rob. Thank you for having me on the show today.
Yeah, appreciate your time. And as we always start these podcasts off, I just wonder if you can just tell the audience a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your career, maybe from when you graduated and how your career's developed to what it is today.
Sure. Thank you. Well, it's great to be on the show today. As you said, I'm the CEO of Sunshine Silver Mining and Refining. I've been with the company coming on to about 5 years now. I entered the mining space, it'll be 30 years ago. So I've been around the block a little bit, have spent that entire 30 years in the mining space, largely moving up from mining engineering roles into mine development, mine building, mine closures, and have worked for a couple of the big majors over that period of time. Spent about 15 years with Inco Limited, later became Vale. And after that, I entered the junior mining space about 15 years ago, and I've been largely focused on bringing large-scale mines into production over the last 15 years in the not only the base metal space, but also in the precious metal space. I'm very happy today to share the Sunshine Silver story with you. It is a very exciting one indeed.
Yeah, great. So, I wonder if you can give us an overview of Sunshine Silver and Mining Refining Company. If you talk about its background, where it stands today, and your strategy for bringing deposits back into production. So, if you can just give us a quick snapshot and overview.
Great. Well, first and foremost, Sunshine Silver Mining and Refining Company is the owner of one of America's most storied mining districts, the Sunshine Complex in Idaho's Silver Valley. The mine historically has produced almost 400 million ounces of silver across a century and was once among the most prolific primary silver mines in the world. Since acquiring the mine, the current ownership has expanded the land package by more than fourfold, consolidating a dominant position in the Silver Valley and now unlocking multiple high potential exploration targets. In addition to the very large, well-defined current resource we also see significant exploration growth potential. And so this is really, Rob, a district scale opportunity with lots and lots of room to grow. Today, we're building on the mine's tremendous legacy with a modern, fully integrated plan that combines one of the highest grade, largest undeveloped silver resources in the United States with what will be the country's only permitted large-scale antimony refinery. Together, they make Sunshine Mine unique, not just a mining story, but it's also a strategic supply chain solution for two minerals that are now recognized as essential to both economic and U.S. national security. And with regards to our strategy, it's simple. It's to continue advancing a clearly defined set of milestones that'll put us back into production in 2028, so not long from now, positioning us as the anchor of a domestic silver antimony value chain, supply critical minerals for clean energy, defense systems, and advanced manufacturing, all from a very safe, established, mining-friendly jurisdiction in northern Idaho.
Great. You've recently closed a $75 million dollar in equity financing. How's this going to be used, and what does the 5-year development roadmap look like?
Yeah, we're very proud to say that we closed that 75 million equity raise. Just completed that a month or two ago. It now allows us to have the capital to execute on our next phase of development and engineering. So through the course of this year and next year, 2026, we'll be completing a variety of key milestones to unlock our pathway to production in 2028. That's namely underground development, infill drilling, detailed engineering design, equipment procurement, and obviously all of these key efforts being underpinned by driving execution discipline from our management team. Then in 2027, we're going to move into the construction phase. So we will complete the final feasibility study in early 2027. And then on the back of that, commence mill construction and upgrades and installing environmental monitoring systems, as well as initiating the construction of the critical mineral refining hub. And then by the end of 2028, we expect to reach initial production with the critical mineral refining hub fully commissioned and processing not only third-party antimony concentrates at a capacity equivalent to deliver roughly 40% of total U.S. demand, alongside production of silver, copper, and lead, which is also coming from the Sunshine Mine in addition to the antimony. And very exciting to report, we're positioning ourselves that by 2031, our plan is to expand that capacity of critical refining to roughly 80 to meet 80% of U.S. demand. That will also add other critical minerals, namely gallium and germanium tolling capabilities to our list, transforming Sunshine into the cornerstone of what we believe to be North America's broader critical minerals refining solution. So to answer your question directly, the 5-year roadmap is very clear. We're moving from design and de-risking to construction and then to the first stage of production, all while laying the foundation for long-term growth and national security relevance.
What are some of the biggest challenges in bringing a project like this back online? And obviously, with these challenges, how are you addressing them?
You know, it's a great question. After 30 years in this business, mining is not easy.
No.
Mining projects at this scale, they always have challenges, like full stop. But the biggest ones, in my view, having spent a lot of time bringing mines back online or rebuilding, I should say, building new mines. The biggest challenge in our industry right now, of late, has been permitting timelines, in my view. Infrastructure readiness can be also a challenge in attracting specialized processing capacity, particularly for critical minerals like antimony, where the U.S. really has none today. But Sunshine's been very proactive on all of these three fronts. The mine and refinery, happy to report, are permitted, ready to roll. So this gives Sunshine an enormous advantage over the long lead times that can typically be experienced with most mining projects similar to ours. We're talking years here, right? And we already
Yeah.
have all the key permits to operate in place. We're also working closely with federal and state agencies to ensure alignment with the new critical minerals priorities under the 2025 executive order. And as well, we've partnered with some of the industry's top technical experts to optimize the metallurgy and design of our new facilities, leveraging Sunshine's 100 years of geological data. This allows us to shorten development time and optimize our overall vision and plan for the company.
Antimony has been gaining obviously a lot of attention recently as obviously a critical mineral. How significant is it within your project portfolio? And can you share your perspective on the market outlook and key industries driving demand?
No, it's a great question, very relevant for the times we're in. And I have to say antimony is a deeply critical mineral, essential for a variety of things, none the least of which are flame retardants, semiconductors, especially I would say for defense applications. Antimony is needed in a variety of defense national security applications, that being from armor piercing munitions to solid state batteries. And sunshine, it may not be known, but sunshine actually has a deep roots in the antimony story. During World War II, the Sunshine Mine was among the largest domestic sources of antimony in the United States, both on the mining side as well as the processing and refining side. So in many ways, we're not entering into this story for the first time, Rob. We're restoring a capability of America that they once had and lost. And the US currently imports almost all of its antimony today, roughly 80% coming from China and Russia, creating a serious supply chain vulnerability. That vulnerability intensified significantly late last year when China, as you know, banned exports of antimony to the United States. So our planned refinery will now have the capacity to deliver a meaningful share of total U.S. demand, directly helping to alleviate that dependence and anchor really a domestic refining solution for the United States. But happy to report it's not just about a critical mineral of antimony. The Sunshine Mine will also boost U.S. silver supply by roughly 20% once back into production. Silver itself was recently added to the draft 2025 U.S. critical minerals list, recognizing now its growing importance for clean energy technologies, electronics, as well as industrial resilience. So while antimony may be the headline-grabbing critical mineral, Sunshine's role extends further beyond that, and we're really helping to secure supply of two key essential metals to both energy transition as well as national security. And very important to understand that Sunshine's antimony refinery, once back in production, will be a major step towards securing domestic supply, not only processing our own material, but from our Idaho operations, but also being um, an outlet for providing domestic refining solution for other North American producers in the form of toll processing capability. So ultimately, we see a very strong and durable market ahead, driven by both industrial demand as well as national security imperatives. We're not chasing a short-term price spike here, Rob. We're positioning Sunshine as a long-term strategic supplier of two key minerals that underpin modern industry and defense. In addition to antimony and silver, we're also evaluating the possibility of processing gallium and germanium at our critical mineral refining hub in Idaho, both essential critical minerals in their own right.
Are you targeting processing concentrates just from US-based mines or from other countries as well?
We're looking at our first priority to process U.S. source antimony concentrates. So that would be first and foremost on our list. Both our own material from, as I mentioned, our Sunshine Mine in northern Idaho, which carries a large amount of antimony, but also those from other domestic producers that currently have nowhere to send their antimony concentrates for refining. The reality, Rob, is that the United States has almost no domestic refining capacity for many critical minerals today. Investing in this capability is absolutely essential, not only from an economic perspective, but from a national security standpoint as well. And without that refining capacity, even if we could mine all these critical minerals here in the United States, we will still need to depend on adversarial supply chains to turn them into usable final products. And that's the key that Sunshine unlocks. That's why our refining complex is so strategic. It provides a secure, transparent, US-based alternative to Chinese and Russian smelters, while also giving our allies a place to send material for final processing. So I guess it's suffice it to say, while our core focus is on U.S. feedstock, we're also open to processing material from friendly allied countries to ensure the refinery operates efficiently from day one. So in that sense, the Sunshine Refinery is as much a piece of national infrastructure as it is a private sector mining project, one that's going to help rebuild the industrial foundation for a very secure North American supply chain.
From your perspective, what regulatory reforms would effectively support critical mineral producers in the US?
Great question. The U.S. has enormous mineral wealth, but the path from discovery to production is still far too slow. Permitting reform is the single biggest lever, not to weaken environmental standards, but to create a clear, timely, and most importantly, predictable process that allows responsible projects to move forward. I can't stress that enough. And we're seeing a lot of encouraging momentum from government right now. As I mentioned, the 2025 executive order on critical minerals explicitly calls for reinvigorating domestic mining and processing. Agencies like the Department of War, the Department of Energy, the Exim Bank, they're all stepping up with new funding tools, stockpiling initiatives, and loan programs to support strategic mineral projects moving forward. So even the Interior Department's new Minerals Action Group has been tasked with coordinating permitting and investment across the multiple agencies that are involved, something we've never really seen before in the U.S. And I would go one step further to say, Rob, that what's needed next now would be the alignment, better coordination between these federal efforts and private investment. And that's where projects like Sunshine come in. We're shovel ready, we're permitted, we're exactly the kind of opportunity that can deliver on the US government's policies goals. So in short, the framework is finally being built in the United States. And what we need to make sure now is that the projects can actually move the needle. Those projects that can do that get prioritized, they get financed, and then obviously fast tracked to production.
If you had to leave investors with 3 key takeaways about Sunshine Silver mining and refining, what would that be?
First of all, I would say Sunshine is on the path for being ready to go. I mentioned 2028 production. Why is that? Why can we do that so fast? It's permitted. It's extraordinarily high-grade U.S. silver project, very robust economics. And it also carries other critical important mineral upside, substantial infrastructure already in place. So all of that just in a nutshell to say we're not starting from scratch here. We're building on one of America's great mining legacies with modern technology and strong alignment with national priorities. Second, our refinery will make Sunshine the sole domestic source of antimony in 2028, capable of delivering roughly 40% of anticipated U.S. demand, a huge step forward, which will eliminate a dangerous supply vulnerability that exists in the United States today. And then on the flip side, the silver side will boost U.S. silver supply by 20% in 2028, with the potential to grow that further as the district continues to expand. All of which is to say, Sunshine moves the needle. And last, thirdly, the timing couldn't be any better. The U.S. government is actively reshoring supply chains. Investors are reevaluating exposure to critical and monetary metals, and the policy environment has never been more supportive. Sunshine sits right at the intersection of all of these forces, combining not only its history, its scale, high grade, and strategic relevance in a way that very few assets can. It's a very, very exciting story.
Yes, certainly. And lastly, just what's the short-term outlook over the next sort of 6 to 12 months?
We are on a path to move this project forward. We have a clear vision. Our team is ready. We're building all the right key infrastructure upgrades and getting our project positioned to deliver on 2028 production.
Great. Heather, really appreciate your time. Thank you for sharing your story, telling us about Sunshine Silver Mining and Refining Company and restarting of the mine. Obviously telling us about silver and autonomy, which is obviously in great demand. If our audience wants to reach out to you, if they want to follow the story, follow the company, get updates, how can they go about doing that, and what social media platform channels are you on?
No, that's great. We welcome incoming communication. Yeah, you pointed it out. Our website is up and running. You can see on there where to reach out for key contacts, and we look forward to hearing from your group.
Yeah, no worries. We'll include all those in the show notes for easy access, so our audience can reach out to you. follow the story and ask any questions that may have. So thank you very much for your time. Maybe you want to come on the podcast in maybe 6, 9, 12 months time and give us an update.
I would be very happy to do that. Thank you for having me on the show today, Rob.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed that episode. As always, appreciate your continued support. Please keep sharing these episodes far and wide. And a good episode here with a restart of a mine. Obviously, we get a lot of mining companies on here that are involved in exploration. Not too many that are doing restarts. And with the infrastructure already there, it's great to get a mine restarting and get ounces, silver ounces, and obviously autonomy as well, which is critical mineral, which is really needed. So as always, appreciate your continued support. Please keep sharing these episodes far and wide across the world. And thank you for listening. And until next time, happy mining.
Thank you for listening. Remember to reach out to Rob via the show notes and be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Until next time, happy mining, helping each other to improve the mining industry.